Ladies and gentlemen, time for tonight's NASCAR 7 Modified Series doubleheader. A couple of very quick races on this portion of the schedule for this stream tonight. We'll be running at the Old Spice Speedway as well as running at the Redball Raceway in race number 2. That second race at Redball, only 100 laps on a half-mile oval. This one, only 33 laps for our 50% race, the final 50% race of the season. I wanted to make sure I got the 50% race in one of these two because we could actually clinch the championship tonight. I won't go over the championship clinching scenarios until we maybe get into this next race, depending how race number 1 goes first and foremost. We will be starting at the back of the field in both races, so no practice, no qualifying. Let's see if we can get to the front here in the Cherry Blossom 50. Again, only 33 laps at Old Spice Speedway for race 1, so starting 22nd. Green flags in the air, we're underway. Jackson Robinson, Wade, thanks for tuning in. You two are the first in the chat down below. I'm ready. I'm ready to try to go for the clean sweep today, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of our NASCAR 07 scheduling. We'll contact ahead of us with a couple of cars at the very back of the pack. Trying to make some passes down on the bottom lane of the track through turn 3. I added a little extra downforce into this thing just because I feel like I struggle on the road courses in the Modified Series quite a bit for some reason. A little scrape of the wall there. This car feels still very loose. No practice or qualifying, not playing this game in a few days. We'll see how get the hang of it maybe. Hopefully sooner rather than later. NCAA March Madness sponsor, thanks for tuning in. Raw is not moving to Netflix. Wait, what? Hold up. Is this false alarm? I'm so confused now. By the way, I just passed 3 cars in turn 3. There's a little bit of contact. I definitely shoved my way in there. It was an extremely late dive. A little bit of bump drafting going on now. Boxed in, side-by-side traffic right in front of Fuller, who comes in as the points leader by just over a 1-race cushion entering this first race of our doubleheader tonight. So the reason I made the late decision to finish the Modified Series up last, we're running today's stream. I'm probably not going to clinch the championship. So we'll have one more Modified stream and then our final chase race on the Cup Series stream. The reason being is because I'll probably clinch the title in the first race of the doubleheader. So to not make the stream like 45 minutes, I'm going to start the Truck Series season on NASCAR 08 the same day. So right in the same stream, we're going to be finishing up NASCAR 07, starting NASCAR 08, and that will be Sunday afternoon. Well, I guess more like Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So I'll get the driver poll started tomorrow. Truck Series poll should be fairly quick, so we'll have that pretty much done for tomorrow. Or at the very least leading up to the stream on Sunday. And then we'll roll into the Busch Series stuff also Sunday, as well as Cup Series polls before Monday. So be on the lookout for that in the community tab. Yeah, this car is very, very unsteady. I've clipped the wall twice now in these first 4 laps. And we're still back at 16th. I almost feel like I'm looser here than I usually am. Watkins Glen was tough, but this wasn't as tough for me last season. I wonder if my race overall rating with running as Bill Fuller for this season is worse on road courses. And I wonder if that could be causing me an issue as well. Maybe I had the best road course equipment last season, and we go into this season. And, well, although last season at Old Spice Speedway, I wrecked out of it. That was one of the first races of the season. If for some reason I do have to run both races of that finale on Sunday, then we'll hold off the NASCAR 08 streams until Monday then. So I'm not going to do 3 races in one stream. That would be ridiculous. It's going to take way too long, especially knowing that the truck stop's even longer than this. Little contact. Oh, kind of got squeezed into the wall there. I probably should have lifted. It wasn't like it was his fault. He was just trying to make the corner. Definitely pinched us off a bit. He's not the full blame, though. That's partly on me being maybe a little too aggressive. Trying to back up turn 1, carry more speed through turn 2. I'm trying. Little over-under move. Pass made for 12th. Redball Raceway is one of my best tracks for the modified series, so I'd like to think we should be able to win that race even starting at the tail. Where the hell is this? Old Spice Speedway, it's a fantasy track. Both racetracks today on the modified series stream are fantasy tracks. You're back. Oof. Ah! Almost turned myself. Won the national championship game in your season mode. There you go. No, this is not a real racetrack. It's not based off of one like some of the fantasy tracks are, too. It's completely made up. Big closing right there through turn 2. I don't know what happened. There's no way I went through the corner that much faster than everybody that was racing through there. Somebody had to have made a mistake, and they just kind of checked up. But we went for it. We were able to get 3 positions between turns 2 and 3 alone. Pulling away slightly through 4, 5, and 6. Now through 7, steadily on. Look, they regain momentum coming out of turn 8 down the long straightaway, across the bridge, headed back for turn 1 on the next lap. 24 to go. That was our fastest lap of the race. Barely beat Ohio State in the last game of the regular season. Yeah, those rivalry games could be close, for sure. I'm in the middle of my Big Ten championship game on my 4th season. I lost the national title game the season before that to Florida State. I was actually down 21-0. I came back to lose 21-14. Last series of the game, I was working my way back down the field again and just ran out of time. I was out of timeouts. I didn't get the ball back till the final 40 seconds. Had one shot at the end zone and try to heave it in there for just over 20 yards out, but I didn't really have a set play to run to try to get somebody open because they just had the cover defense. Thought I was streaming tonight. Well, I didn't have it on the schedule. I didn't have anything scheduled for tomorrow. Being up late, honestly, the night before, really, I was sleepy after my work day. I was pretty whooped yesterday. Last car, we just passed that last lap, had a big power slide in turn 2. Maybe that's what happened to those cars up in front of us a little bit ago also. Fastest lap again, though. 45.378. Twice in the last 3 laps, we've ran our fastest of the day. All clear on the next straightaway before entering turn 1, so we don't have to back the corner up this time. Pretty solid. Yeah, now the next car in front of us got a little slidey. I did too, but nowhere near as bad. I didn't skirt the tires. Pass made it in turn 3 now. And just like that, in just a dozen laps, we've gone from 22nd to 12th. We usually don't see this kind of speed out of the modifieds on the road courses, but here we go. We had speed when we ran here last season before I got in the crash and wrecked out. So here we are again with speed. We're working our way through the field. I'm not going to lie, I was actually a little sleepy still earlier in the day. I was still recovering. I can only imagine what it's going to be like the weekend of the Rolex 24. That's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. I think I can make it through the stream, but it's going to be the 2 or 3 days after that. Like, that might be the only stream I'll have for a few days. I'll probably have that and then have to take the next couple days off. To get back on the right sleep schedule with having to work, obviously, during the rest of that next week. My days off, I'll just be up a long time. 20 to go. I haven't looked up at the gap between us and the leader. One car almost off the track, out towards the grass. Tried the over-under move through turn 3 on Beasley. I honestly would have had him cleared if that other car wasn't there. We just got chopped off. And we ended up not getting by either one. But they're both at striking distance to maybe make a pass on the next lap. Backing turn 8 up a ton. Gassing it up a little more through the center. Probably backed it up a bit too much. Okay, so 4.5 seconds off the lead. There is one car out of the race that I noticed is in the pits. I didn't see them when they blew motor, but they are out of the race. Close the gap for our biggest passing area, turn number 3. And that pass was made on Beasley. That time clear and into 4th. Trying to stay alongside this next car for position. That would be Travis Haley. Haley 3rd in points. We haven't ran the modified series on the channel in about a week and a half or so. Just really grinding out those chase streams over the last week or so. Winfield Scott, thanks for tuning in. Can't wait for NASCAR. I can't either. We're getting close. 1 month out. 1 month out from the Clash. Oh, yeah, I knew I was going to hit that wall. I got back in the gas a little too soon. I'm surprised I didn't get really sideways after I hit the wall, honestly. Thankful that car behind me didn't just run me over, because he was pretty tight on our back bumper when that happened. That race leader is gone. 2nd place car within sight. You can see the 1st place car a little up the way. It's quite a ways up there, though. About halfway. Actually, I think we'll be officially halfway after this next lap at the line. So we've got plenty of time. Definitely not going to lead the most laps in this first race. Haven't led yet. Trying to get close enough to at least get into the draft of the 2nd place car. Closing through turn 8 a ton. 45.191, our first 45.1 in our fastest lap. It's Brett Simmons, who is in the top 10 in points, I believe actually in 10th place. Entering this race, a little bit of an undercut through turn 1. Lost some ground. Tried to regain it and then some in turn 3. Big closing rate. Now we're all over his back bumper. The Zombies car. Got a little loose there.
All right, buddy. We're in 2nd. All right, you're 3 seconds off the lead. Stay smooth, you'll catch them.
3 seconds back. Oh, we're clear. He's just in the rear view now, entering turn 1. Really time to try to attack now. There is time to get there, but we are running out of laps simultaneously. Making a new NASCAR game. They have been in the works for NASCAR 25 for the last couple of years now, and it's set to release sometime more than likely in the fall. It'll definitely be out at some point this year, calendar year, before the end of the actual racing season. Got to be about 9-10 months away, I would imagine. 45.0 that last lap. Gregson going to drive the 4 car for front row. Yep. And then also Zane Smith. Be at Front Row Motorsports as well. It's kind of crazy, silly season still going on a month away from the season. I would imagine that they've kept it behind closed doors for a while. There's no way they just came up with a deal. They were probably still looking for some sponsorship for the rest of the season up to this point. But I'm sure the team was well aware that Gragson was going to be with them until just now it was announced. Big slide. I'm still trying to catch. I was out of the gas for so long there. Just fishtailing out of turn 2. Pulled away from third pretty quickly. Oh, geez, that's not going to help me. Jeez, that was a big hit. First one was hard. The second one was harder. Well, I was pulling away from second place. Yeah, I saw Mike Wallace is running the 500 too, or at least going to attempt. I don't know. MBM has failed to qualify for the 500s in recent years with this next-gen car, so it's going to be very tough for him. Especially when you can sit at the same time. This car is really freeing up the longer this run goes, though. I've squawked the tires too many times. What about the clash? What about the clash? What do you want to know? Oof. Yeah, this thing's fishtailing a lot. I'm starting to get really loose, especially in turn 2. Turn 2 seems to be the worst right now. Man, even right there, it's starting to get a little sideways. I just got to hold on for a second. I don't want to lose any spots. If I can't get up there and win the race, we should be really quick at Redball. I just got to not lose any positions. Don't want to lose out on any points that it looks like we're going to get. 10 laps left. 4 seconds off the lead. Walking big time down towards turn 1. Not as bad of a power slide that time. I wasn't perfect through turn 3. Not like I had been. 9 laps to go this time by. I think Gonzalez is the one leading the race, if I remember right. These triple-digit numbers, it is kind of tough to tell exactly who it is when leading in the modified series, but I think it might be Gonzalez who, if he gets a max point stay out of this, assuming he wins, he will end up with the race win and the most laps led. We're not going to get any bonus points, so he will cut into that gap by about 20 points. If we finish second, it'd be more than 20 the further back we end up finishing. I cut into the lead quite a bit over the last 2 laps combined. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. I just got to accept the fact that it's sliding out of turn 2 and just try not to fight the wheel as much. Just kind of let it drift. It's when I kind of overcorrected. It's when I really start to fishtail a ton. Oh, we got a slow car down to the bottom of the track. I don't think he really got in the way of the leader necessarily, but probably get in the way of the cars back behind us. 3.1 seconds off the lead. I only gained a tenth that last lap. I couldn't really attack in turn 8 like I typically do in the hairpins at this track. Having that lap car right on the bottom. He must have just missed pit road. Probably catch him again before he gets to the pits, honestly. Well, maybe. We'll see. It'll be close. .6 off the lead. Speaking of being close, the race for the win is getting closer and closer. 4 seconds off the lead about 3 or 4 laps ago. Picked up a little under a second and a half in that 4-lap stretch. Probably 2 to 3 tenths of a second on average quicker than him in that stretch. Gonna have to pick up the pace maybe just a little bit more, though, if we're gonna want to win this race. That was a very clean lap. Even turn 2 was fairly solid. One of the best I've gotten through there in a while now. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, talking about Michael Walsh running the Daytona 500 next year. Well, this year, I guess, technically. It is January now. I got to keep telling myself that. That was a big gain that last lap, by the way. Oh, I did not get through turn 2 well that time. I didn't power slide. Just enter the corner way too deep. It's going to be close. We have 4 laps to go at the line. Can Bill Fuller get his 6th win of the season? And win race 1 of our doubleheader here on this Friday night. Pretty even that last lap, 1.6 seconds. Honestly, that tells me that I was perfect everywhere but turn 2, and that was enough to keep the lap times even that last go-around. I keep executing in turn 3 alone and just manage the rest of the way around the track. I think we could get to him, but then when we get to him, are we going to have enough time to get around him is going to be the next question. It has taken us this whole race, all 33 laps, trying to get to the front of the field. 3 to go. There are some lap cars that aren't that far ahead, but I don't think we're going to catch them. I kind of faintly saw them when we got out of turn 8, headed for the start-finish line. So they're not quite a full lung straightaway ahead of us. Big gain on that apron again. I just got to keep doing that every lap, and maybe the final lap will have a chance. Can Fuller keep the car under enough control everywhere else? End of the race, obviously with no live pit stops. Tires are fading. Turn 8 closes in even more. Heavy through the braking zone and trying to get back to the gas as quick as possible. Fastest lap all race, lap 31 of 33. Our first sub 45 second lap time. Well within the draft entering turn 1. Deep corner entry there. Deep through turn 2. We might have a chance to get him here in turn 3 this time around. Got to back up the entry. Dive down to the apron. Middle of the corner. Not going to be able to get to him on corner exit though. He did a great job protecting the bottom, and I couldn't get back to the gas as soon as I wanted. We got to try to stay in the draft as best as we can, manage, and maybe try to push through turn 8. He'll break the draft just a bit. Still a deep dive for Fuller. A move to the inside. Final lap. We did not lead that lap in the line, so we still have not led yet. Door to door. Entering turn one. This is going to get tight down here. This is the tightest area of the track. Not somewhere you want to run side by side and a hit into the guardrail. But then he slid in turn two. And it gave the time right back up again. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be real close. Trying to stay underneath him before we get into turn 8, but he'll have the inside through 7. We're going to have one more shot to try to make the pass for the win. One last run in the draft. Fuller trying to be aggressive on the bottom. The bump! The run! The slam! The slide! We got it! We got it! Wow! 8/100ths of a second. Bill Fuller wins it. Let's go. That's got to be the closest modified series finish I think we've ever had, really. No cautions in this series. We don't get races like that too often. Man, I shot him out of the way, and then I had to hit him again off the corner. Actually, that second hit probably hurt me more than it hurt him, because I had a big slide. Once we had the wheel-to-wheel contact, the bumper-to-bumper was all right. It hurt him more than it hurt me, but once we got wheel-to-wheel, that definitely hurt me. And another step closer to getting Bill Fuller a modified series championship. That was only race 1. We got one more coming up for you yet. Let's go through the finishing results in this race. First, we led only the final lap. Took us the whole race to get to the front of the field. For a second there, I really didn't think we were going to catch him. 12 laps to go. We were about 4 seconds off the lead still, and had to be about 3/10 or so quicker lap to get to him, and man, we just got to him. 84/1000ths of a second margin of victory, 25 minutes, 17 seconds total time on this first race. Again, we did run a 50% race here for race 1. 117.42 mile per hour average race speed, and that one lead change, that was it. Jamie Gonzalez led every lap from the pole but the last lap, and the guy that started last led the final lap and gets the win. Travis Haley ends up 3rd, Nate Beasley 4th, Rhett Simmons in 5th, and Shannon 6th, Marvin Humphreys 7th, Camden Barnes 8th, Clint Ferguson 9th, Rodney Clay, our teammate, rounds out the top 10 in 10th. Our other teammates here, Brett Matthews 13th, Lyle White 19th, and 3 DNFs, Clements, Alan Walker, and Lou Stanton. All right, one more here today. I think we only increased our lead by just a slim margin. I will update the point standings at the top of the screen as well in between these two races. Oh, it's going to be actually a 150 at Redball, not 100. Okay. So 150 laps at Redball Raceway. I was thinking we had the 100 lap date there. Instead, not the case, I guess. Three races to go in the season. So the increase in the points lead, again, not by much. Oh, I didn't even have the original. I think it would have been 128, and I think we only got 5 points on him. Because we only got 5 bonus points. He got 10. Actually, no, 10. So it would have been 123 points going into that race. We gained 10 points with the win on him. 6th win of the season. 1 lap led. Sorry for the typo at the top of the screen. I didn't realize that I didn't have his margin for some reason. I had it for everybody else. Alrighty. All right. Point standings are updated at the top of the screen as we enter the 10th race out of 12 on the season. Change it back to 100, I will. All right. Oh, and 5 on college football 2025. That is a rough start. It's definitely a learning curve. I was 8-6 my first season. I don't think I've had a season that bad on an NCAA game since I was a little kid. If that, honestly. My 4th season. I got to win my first title at some point sometime soon. I mean, I was in the national championship game last season. I just fell behind, didn't play 4 quarters of football. .363 laps led on the season. And actually, we've only led more than 1 lap once in the last 4 races. 0 laps led at Watkins Glen. DNF finished 20th. That was the only finish outside the top 5 we've had. Richmond, I led all 75 laps and ended up winning the race. It was a 50% race. And now the last 2, we were 5th at Nazareth with no laps led. 1 lap led Old Spice Speedway with the win. No, I'm not going to qualify for this one. Make it tougher on us. Going to add some downforce, that's for sure. Better safe than sorry here. Give me that grip. All right, sound's back on as well. Race 2 of the doubleheader here today. Whelen Modified Series action, 133-point lead over Jamie Gonzalez in the run for the championship. Contact right out of the gate. Yeah, I'm lifting right away. I don't want any part of being on the outside if I can help it. Oh boy, 3 wide. I should unanimously have the quickest car here, even though I have more downforce in it technically than I did last time. Oh boy. That's tight. Oh, they're wrecking. They are wrecking. Yeah, one of them went for a spin. I think it was the car that got into me when I was against the wall. I couldn't go any higher, but we were 3 wide. Definitely not a great start. Lancelot, thanks for tuning in. Well, the good news in there is I didn't have a lot of damage. The other piece of good news, we're still up in the lead pack. Speed still in the car also. We'll get through these guys. Sometimes you just got to struggle a bit out of the gate. I mean, we're really getting our way through the pack very quickly now. Maybe a little too quickly. I've definitely been way more aggressive in this one. Dang it. We're trying to get back under the bottom. Finally did. Had to let all three of those guys get around us. I've had a good Friday. Trying to maybe add a modified series championship onto it. Probably our longest race of the season at Rockingham is supposed to be the next race. And I thought about maybe saving that as a 50% race and running the two. Oh my gosh. I am all over the place right now. Oh boy, he ain't happy either. Hitting everything and the kitchen sink. My goodness. You can definitely tell I haven't driven the modifieds in a while. I'm not kidding. I mean, they just feel way more unsteady than the other series in this game. I don't know why that is. Another car blowing up. That's the second one already. Oh my gosh, I just overshot it again. It's actually kind of insane how I haven't hurt the car more. That might have been, oh my gosh. We're going to make so many enemies before we get into the next race. This looks like the first time I've ever played this game. Come to find out, this is one of the last streams with this game. Well, we're finally up to second, and only Travis Haley is in front of us. And a move quickly to the inside, entering turns 1 and 2, and the pass is clear on corner exit. So 27 laps from last to first. By no means was it clean, but we did get here eventually. And obviously getting into the lead well early enough to try to go for the max point stay on top of the win. Major winter storm this weekend. Yeah, it actually snowed here quite a bit. Last 24 hours or so. It snowed overnight, got about an inch, got about another inch during the day. Went for a long time with it not snowing in between. You know, I just kind of woke up this morning. We had what we had on the ground earlier, and then it started snowing again early in the afternoon. And I think it stopped right before it got dark, around 5:30-ish maybe. Hang on to it, hang on to it. We're good. It's tailing all the way down that straightaway. Gave up a little bit of my lead. I believe that is Haley still in second. Near foot of snow. Well, if you actually end up getting that much, definitely hunker down. Do you live like in a mountainy area? In Missouri, or I haven't been too deep into the state of Missouri to know if there is any mountain ranges there, to be completely honest. When I drove through it to get to Kansas Speedway a couple years ago, at least I didn't notice it being... I mean, it felt like the Midwest, honestly, with more trees. Looks like there's actually 3 cars that are out of the race right now. I only saw 2 of them blow up, but it does appear that there are 2 cars nose to tail on pit road. Yep. Yeah, there's definitely 2 of them there. Okay, so looked like there were 3 dots that were up on the track map that might have been on that blue area in pit road as well. Almost a third of the way home. Once we got out into the open, obviously starting to run a lot cleaner lap times. 1.2 seconds ahead for Fuller. Ozarks are where some of the mountains are. Gotcha. Yeah, I wasn't in that area. Is that more in the southern part of the state then? That was definitely more in the top half. Between being in St. Louis once and then driving to Kansas City. From the direction that I was coming from. Gotcha. Still about a 1.4 second lead. Going to attempt to do some field passes in this race. Haven't had many of them on this season.
What do you think? Want to work with them? Okay, we're clear.
So we'll get this first field pass in at the line. We'll go to the 172 car first.
Consider it done.
I believe this one is Lyle White, if I remember correctly.
Driving to do. We just got about 10 seconds on us.
Lap 50. This guy's in 14th. I wasn't trying to cut the middle of the corner. And the reason why I don't run as other drivers is because of this.
You'll get it back. Go outside. Go beside you. You got it.
I tend to nearly wreck a lot. I don't know why. They're just way more unsteady than my cars are. Like, my car is more unsteady, I feel like, in the modifieds compared to the Truck, Busch, or Cup Series in this game. The modified guys, it's bad. I was purposely letting that guy go. Car should not be driving this terrible. Look at this. Just turning to go off into the corner. That's all it takes. Might ruin a good day for this buddy. He's in 5th. Just gotta accept the sliding. As bad as it looks, his car actually is nowhere near as bad as what I've had already. Let that guy go. Let's go back to Fuller. Ran about 6 laps of that, I had enough. Maybe try again a little later. Lead has stayed about the same. 1.7, 1.8 seconds ahead of second place. So definitely didn't lose any time there. About 30 minutes south of I-70. It's kind of crazy to think you get that much snow that much further down south. Honestly, I'm surprised that Kansas City gets as cold of temperatures as they do in the wintertime. I mean, it's just as cold as it is here. Way more north. He's down to 1.5 seconds as Fuller gets closer to the lap traffic just up ahead. Still a little over half the race to go out of 150 laps. Fuller to try to look and get yet another win on the season. Hasn't been able to get enough of a run to make this pass yet. Had a year, 24-inch snow in the area. In one fall, or are you talking like over the course of the year? Or winter season? There we go. I only got around him. 1 day. That's some... I mean, that sounds like lake effect snow. That's wild. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that down in Missouri, honestly. Halfway, 1.3 second lead. 75 laps down, 75 to go. And trying to get yet another sweep with the double headers on this custom schedule season for the modified series. I got a little shaky, a little loose out of turn 4. Took the whole front straightaway and then some to try to catch it. Go back to the 175 car for now. What heck, man? I don't know why it's this out of shape. It just feels like I barely touched the analog stick and it wants to just spin out. Jeez. I just realized we're catching up to Bill Fuller. I'll leave him out in front of us. Yeah, I'm not doing that ever again. You know what? That's probably the final field pass ever. From what I've been told, there is no field passes in NASCAR 08 or NASCAR 09, just from people in the chat, leading up to starting my first ever time playing NASCAR 08. Which again, we're only a couple days away. Driving as Dave Blaney in the Cup Series, not having any teammates is why we won't have a field pass there. We're already done with the Truck and Busch Series content on this game as well, so 60 laps to go. I can't remember from last season with the modifieds, because we did run one other season, how many points you could score in one race over another driver. So I am going to have to look that up after the stream. Well, I'll do it on the stream, but it'll be after the race, obviously. I don't think we're going to clinch the championship, even leading the most laps and winning this race. We only have a half a second lead. Winning the race isn't even a guarantee at this rate. We still got a lot of laps left. And I did not realize that the car right behind us was actually second place. Bullard just trying to be maybe a little bit more steady, as steady as he can, to make the lap time needed, try to get a decent gap again. Largest lead for him, about 1.8 seconds, so it hasn't been a cakewalk like it usually is at this track in this series for me. Really, honestly, this is probably one of the better short tracks for me in general. even though I have a tendency to dominate on short tracks in the other series. Here in Dodge Raceway, definitely the best of the fantasy tracks. Get a pass on the 129. This would be the 7th win out of 10 races as well. So we've won all but 3 races, and we finished outside the top 5 only once, which again was that DNF in a 20th place run at Watkins Glen, right smack dab in the middle of the season. Right at race number 6. $52 to go. Honestly, as much contact as we made at the very beginning of this race, I'm very shocked. At how smooth the second 2/3 of this race is going so far. Still 50 to go. Had a little contact getting by that last lap car, but nothing major. One more lap car in the vicinity, then we're going to have a pretty big gap before we catch anybody else after that. And this is a teammate in the 175, so hopefully he just gets out of the way. Gives us plenty of room. Lead stretched out to almost a second again over second place. Looking low out of turn 2 into turns 3 and 4. Clean pass made. Still the same 3 cars out of the race. Nobody else has blown a motor since the very early laps in our second race. I thought this race would have been over by now. I really thought this race was only 100 laps. Maybe I didn't have the option for this one to pick 100, because there were a couple races that were only 100 laps. Last season, I wanted to do the shorter ones, especially at tracks that I know it could dominate, like here. Guess it does put a little bit more pressure knowing that it's not locked up and it's still a relatively close race. Not nail-biting to this point. 1.7 second lead, though, which again is about the largest lead of the race so far. And definitely largest lead that we've had between both races, considering we only led the last lap at Old Spice. Nice clutch victory there. Now it's a 2-second lead. We have a rival right in front of us, too. Maybe not for long, though, because he's about to pass the 101 car. Big dive getting into the corner, lift in the middle, and I'm still going to be able to make this pass. All right. Gotta get by this next guy cleanly. There we go. I was scared he was going to try to take a swing at us because he tried at Old Spice. Just ran our fastest lap of the race, too. 13.405. Good time for it as we tried to clear our arch nemesis. $35 to go. So our final cup race on the channel for NASCAR 7 is going to be tomorrow at noon Eastern. I did put the community tab scheduling for this weekend up earlier today. So you can check there for the rest of the stream start times as well as what we're streaming for both tomorrow and Sunday as well. So we're getting closer to wrapping things up here tonight. 2.9 second lead. So again, every lap now it seems like we're growing onto our largest lead of the race. It was down to about a half a second there, around 50 laps to go. Really starting to get through the lap traffic much better than the second place car. And when we're not in lap traffic and in the clean track like we are currently, even more and more time still being added to the lead.
One's up high. Number 187, going high. Clear.
Used a lot of apron and actually didn't slide all the way up the track like I was doing real early in the race running there. More of the apron down into turns 3 and 4, getting away from the lapper also. I think just having over 100 laps and having them consecutively really just starting to get in a rhythm. No matter where I put this car headed into a corner. .20 to go at the line.
Got 20 laps left.
4.5 second lead. I'm not going to push hard to try to pass anybody else. If the door opens up for me to make the pass at ease, I will, but I'm definitely not going to have to push anything here. $186 points or more ahead tonight clinches. I don't think we're going to get to that. Unless Jamie Gonzalez is one of the cars out of the race, I guess I would be giving myself a chance at it. Gives us a real good shot to be able to clinch at Rockingham in the next race.
One down time. The 132 car, right behind you. You're clear.
Made the pass on the last lapper. Make another one here. Oh boy.
Careful out there.
That was a lot of contact. Definitely didn't need that. It was a big hit. I didn't feel like I was making an over-aggressive move there. I mean, we were clearly on the inside for a while, actually. We were on the inside coming off the corner before. It's holding me right to the white line. It came off of it just a bit. And got hung up on each other wheel to wheel. I mean, we see it so many times when I'm running the modifieds in this series. Stuff like that happen. It's so easy for it to happen. We do stay green. And the lead from 4.5 seconds got dropped down to about 2.7, and it stayed there over the last couple laps. Only 11 to go at the line. Car's not hurt badly at all. despite the awkward hit into the wall, and it was a pretty hard one at that. Got clipped by this car that's in front of me as he got back on the lead lap, getting by as well. 10 to go. I'm honestly not even going to look to pass this guy when we get to him. Unless he decides to just run the outside of the racetrack. I don't want to make contact with anybody and risk that happening again. There's not enough time left in this race with the lap time that I'm running right now. Even if I were to falter just a little bit, I don't think second place is going to catch us. 2.6, 2.7. He did gain a little bit the last lap. But I still don't think he's going to be gaining enough on us. Five to go at the line, just trying to manage a gap to the car in front of us. We gave up maybe a tenth a lap the last 3 laps now, but it's perfectly fine. Especially knowing there's not going to be any cautions either. Won't have to worry about another restart or a restart in general. So it's kind of a sloppy initial start with everybody double wide. Quite a few cars a lap down. 3 to go now. Still just over a 2.5 second lead. Definitely a bigger margin of victory for Bill Fuller in race 2 versus race 1. And a lot more laps led. Granted, we only had 33 laps in the first race, but the first 60 here in this one. Final lap now. 2.3 second lead. Bill Fuller is going to get win number 8 and go back-to-back, getting a sweep for, I believe, the 3rd time on this season with the 5 streams we've had. It's a good win. We'll gladly take it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Speaking of chicken dinner, I think I might get beat up tonight. I've been craving chicken all day. Have to wait and see on that, but for the meantime, take a look at the finishing results. Okay, so let's see how big this points lead is really going to be. We led 124 laps, max points day. I did not see Gonzalez finish in the top 10. Not on the quick glance, at least. Only 34 minutes and 30 seconds to run this full 150-lap race. That is a quick one. 2.2 second margin of victory, 139.01 mile per hour average race speed. Again, no cautions, obviously. 7 lead changes. Travis Haley gets 5 bonus points, leading 24 laps. Same for Alan Walker with the bonus points, getting 5. He started on the pole, only led the opening lap. Rhett Simmons finishes 4th, Nate Beasley 5th, Rodney Clay 6th, Camden Barnes 7th. Clint Ferguson 8th, Mark Dyer 9th, Lyle White rounds out the top 10. Gonzalez finished 13th. He did lead 1 lap, so he got 5 bonus points with the 13th place finish. And he did finish off the lead lap. Only the top 9 finished on the lead lap. Our other teammate, Brett Matthews, ended up 15th. And we had the 3 DNFs all in the first 32 laps. Speed Riley, Marvin Humphreys, and Lou Stanton. I think Humphreys actually DNF'd in both races tonight. 2.2 second, again, margin of victory. Let's see what that points lead's going to be, because him finishing 13th, we actually might get very close to clinching the title here today. So Rockingham, New Hampshire are the next 2 races. If we don't lock it up here, it's all but locked up. I'm going to double check that 186 points just to make sure. Just to see for myself. Because we will simulate these last two races on this stream if we did clinch. Want to see what our number is first before we look at it. It's going to be kind of an anticlimactic finish to that because I didn't think it was really obtainable today, honestly. But I also didn't think that Gonzalez was going to finish as far back as he did, which was 13th, especially leading laps early, or a lap. So 97 points for finishing last. Obviously, you win, lead the most laps. It's 190, 22nd. So, yeah, 186, as Michael Turner mentioned in the chat earlier. And we have the tiebreaker, so 186 is the magic number we did. Wow. Bill Fuller wins the championship, ladies and gentlemen. 187 points. By 1 point, we were able to clinch the championship. Well, I guess technically 2 because of the tiebreaker, but 1 point, we have clinched the title 2 races early. Sorry for not making it more dramatic on the commentary side of things down the home stretch there, but I really didn't think that Gonzalez was that far back in the pack. And he actually fell to third in points. Haley is now second. So if I didn't win that first race on a last lap pass at Gonzalez, then we would be running another modified stream. But that is not the case. That means NASCAR 07 tomorrow for the Cup Series will be our final NASCAR 07 stream. And the Modified Series Championship is locked up, and all we have left is the Cup Series with Dave Blaney. So we'll simulate these last couple of races, see where everybody finished. R. Irwin going to get the win. It's going to have us finish outside the top 10, but doesn't really matter because we already have the title clinched. And New Hampshire for the finale has Stevens. So that puts us at 6 different winners on the season. We were the only driver to win more than one race. Solid. $487 laps led on the year through 10 races. 4 at Milwaukee, 16 at Martinsville, 150 at IRP, which was every lap, 62 at Meadow Creek, Dodge Raceway, 55, 0 at Watkins Glen, 75 at Richmond, 1 at Old Spice, none at Nazareth, and 124 in this last race here today. Oh, hang on. Rest of the point standings, Gonzalez did get back into second in the final 2 races, and Haley fell back to third. So Bill Fuller with the championship win here tonight in the Modified Series. Jamie Gonzalez in second, 177 back. Travis Haley with 222. Ends up third in points. Alan Walker fourth. Nate Beasley fifth. Rodney Clay sixth. Red Simmons seventh. Mark Dyer eighth. Ned Shannon ninth. Camden Barnes rounds out the top 10. Our other 2 teammates that did not finish in the top 10 in points. Lyle White was 11th. And Brett Matthews 16th. And not every one of these drivers ran every race. Really see that cliff point between 22nd and 23rd in points as well. With that being said, 30 drivers overall competed at least one race out of the 12 on this custom schedule season. Okay, so that is going to finish things up here today. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Final NASCAR 07 stream tomorrow at noon Eastern, as we will try to go for the championship at the Homestead Miami Speedway. So hopefully you tune in for that. Thanks for always supporting the channel. Our first actual stream of the year, even though we ended the year on New Year's Eve night into New Year's Day overnight. This was our first stream of the season, so first of many, and we will be back again tomorrow. I'm telling you, man, I am dragging since I stayed up late. It is going to take me at least 2 to 3 days of recovery post Rolex 24. Still gearing up for it, still preparing for it. We will have that. That'll be the first live commentary stream of the year in a few weeks. Thanks for watching again. See you tomorrow at noon, and have a good rest of your Friday, everyone.